simple, basic, run right at him. Good running game, good passing game. Don't try to be too smart.
Well, when you have to be clever, it's always good to go to Harold Carmichael. He had caught 5 passes in September against the St. Louis Cardinals, and we wondered what he thought the Cardinals would do to try and stop him today.
I don't know, maybe double coverage. I've seen some triple coverage this year at the times, and I really don't know. They might be trying to take the inside cuts away from me and bring in the free safety over.
And, of course, when it gets down to defense, the Eagles are #1 in the NFL.
Well, the Eagles' defense had little letdown the last couple of weeks. The Eagles are going to have to stop Anderson first on the ground to win. They have to stop the running game first and then Hart second.
Well, with all that in mind, let's go down to the field. And down on the field, the St. Louis Cardinals won the toss. It was Dan Dierdorf doing the calling. And so the Eagles will be kicking off. Deep will be Roy Green, who ran a punt back 57 yards for a touchdown last week. And on his left is Willard Harrell. So Tony Franklin, the barefoot boy, kicks it deep. It'll be Roy Green from 1 yard out. And he hands it off to Baker. And he's to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, and Baker across the 40-yard line. And that's a play handling Charlie Baker, the rookie out of New Mexico. And on the campus in New Mexico, they think he's another Robin Cole. So we'll take another look at Roy Green. And a surprising wide-open handoff on the kickoff. Roy Green to Charles Baker. And there goes Mr. Baker, bringing it out to the Cardinal 41-yard line. And we get back to live. Mel Gray is wide right. Marsh, the tight end, on the left side. The running back, Anderson. Otis Anderson is hit by Harrison and finally knocked down by Johnson. And it was the big defensive man, Dennis Harrison, who hit him behind the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look first at the Cardinal offensively. Jim Hart is playing with a flak jacket. He has bad ribs. He was given a shot before the game. He is going to try. With Morris and Anderson as running backs, Steve is in there, a wide receiver instead of Pat Tilley, who is out. Mel Gray, and the tight end is Doug Marsh. Up front, Collins, Cotton, Brahaney, Bostic, and Dierdorf. So a loss of 2, it makes it 2nd and 12 as Gray shakes himself loose and goes wide left. Pitch back to Otis Anderson. Morris blocking on bunting. And he gets it out across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Let's take a look at the Eagles defensively with Harrison, Johnson, and Hairston up front in the 3-man front, with the linebackers Bunting, Berge, LeMaster, and Robinson. At the corners, Roynell Young and Herman Edwards. The safeties are Randy Logan and Bernard Wilson. So everyone is present and accounted for. Jim Hannafan talking to his tight end, Chris Combs. And now we have a 3rd down situation, 3rd and 6. The ball on the 45-yard line. On a blitz by John Shara, no good. John Shara, the safety blitz was coming in. Unload in a hurry. Look at Shara.
Pass.
Try and figure out how to pick up that blitz. So it'll be Larry Swider getting the punting away. And he punts it deep. John Shara will take it on the 22. He's hooked by Stone and dropped. So Kenny Stone down there to make the initial hit. Let's take a look at the Eagles. You have Jaworski at the wheel, Montgomery and Harris the running backs. Carmichael, who has caught at least 1 pass in 126 straight, along with Charles Smith and John Spagnola. Keith Krefley is banged up. Up front, Walters, not Perot. He's out with a bad hip. Ron Baker is playing for Perot. Then Morris, Peoples, and Sizemore. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 23. Quick handoff to Leroy Harris, who falls across to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at the St. Louis defense now. They're really banged up in the linebacker spot, but up front, the 3 men are okay. Pollard, Brown, and Jankowski, who will alternate with Curtis Greer. The linebackers, Niels is okay, but the others are banged up, so rushing into the breach are McIntyre, Favren. Arneson is banged up, and Charles Baker, who handled that handoff, he's in there. Allen, Worley, Nelson, and Stone in the secondary. So a 2nd and 6 for Jaworski at the 26. Wilbert Montgomery, and he is stacked up after perhaps a 2-yard gain. Rush Brown, the first man to make the hit. On the sideline, just in front of Rodney Parker, that's Dick Vermeil to shake his ball club loose. The Cardinals beat him. They won 8 straight. Now they've lost 2 in a row.
Well, nobody's done a better job of coaching in the NFL than Dick Vermeil and his staff this year. Both clubs to date have run the ball Vin first, basic. The Cardinals came out with 2 tight ends. You know when they have 2 tight ends, oh, Anderson's going to carry the ball. Well,
the Eagles now on a 3rd and 4, really stringing it out. Smith and Carmichael and Fitzke. So Jaworski with Leroy Harris behind him. Ron setting up and throwing low behind Charles Smith. And so Jaworski unable to complete his drive. Roger Worley was right there. And the Eagles will have to kick. A couple of things to keep in mind. The Eagles, among other things, have had some trouble protecting Jaworski in the last 2 games. Jaworski has been sacked 11 times in the last 2 games. I'm not sure whether that means the offensive line is breaking down or not.
Well, sometimes it's the dogs, the blitzes you get, you can't pick them up. He was rushed on that last one.
So now Max Runniger standing on his own 15-yard line. A player change at the last minute. Ron Baker, who is a guard playing for the injured Petey Perreault. And now Runniger on his own 15-yard line with Roy Green standing on the Cardinal 30. Plenty of time, nobody coming. And a high punt that Green will have to retreat. Makes it at the 16-yard line. Got away from Shara at the 20. Flag on the play, and he goes down at the 21. And a loose ball, I believe, however, after the whistle. But there are 2 flags down, so let's wait and see. It also gives us a chance in the early going to identify Bob Frederick as the referee, Lou Palazzi the umpire, and the head linesman Sid Seaman. There you can see Green getting away from John Shara. And then as he advances, it is a penalty. We'll wait for the official call. Line judge Bob Beeks, Bill Swanson, Ron Murphy, and Bob Workman. And it will be against the Cardinals. That's a 55-yard punt for Max Runniger. And Roy Green, who handled a punt, is steaming and he is hurt.
Clipping on the kick return team, number 52.
So Charles Baker has sure been busy. He took the handoff from Roy Green on the kickoff, and Green has had to be carried off the field. A bad blow for the Cardinals in the early going. No score here in Philadelphia. Roy Green, shaken up on that punt return, had to be helped off the field, either an ankle or a knee. With the clip, the Cardinals are back on their own 10-yard line, 1st and 10. Wayne Morris out to the 14-yard line. Jerry Robinson making the stop. Say, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League is prohibited.
Well, Vin, the Cardinals are again in their 2 tight end alignment. That's basically running. The only pass rush you have there is Mel Gray.
2nd and 6 on the 14-yard line, and out of the 2 tight end, they're going to pass. Hart setting up a screen to Otis Anderson, and Anderson gets out to about the 18-yard line. He has to get just beyond the 20-yard line for a 1st down. Frank LeMaster right there to make the tackle.
Well, with a 34 defense, here it is. Play action pass, fakes to 24, wants to go downfield but can't. Dumps it off to Anderson with a 34 defense, 3 men around him. they can key him all the time with a 34 defense. A little bit easier than it is with a 43 defense.
Bill Gray and Jeff Lee go in a slot right as Hart has 3rd and 3 on the 18-yard line. And he's looking left, throwing Steve, and Steve goes out of bounds, picking up the first down with Herman Edwards right there defending. Dave, Steve is playing for Pat Tilley, who is out with a groin strain.
Look at the protection he has. Flags the ball once, then dumps it off to Steve. Didn't get the first down. Did get the first down.
Yeah, he did.
Gave him the first down, yeah. Looked
So
like
it's
he didn't
first
make
and
it.
10 on the Cardinal 22-yard line. Mel Gray going wide right. Doug Marsh, along with Chris Coombs, the 2 tight ends. It'll be the second man, Otis Anderson, trying to slide sideways through the crowd. And he got the ball back out to maybe the 23-yard line. Among others, Frank LeMaster, double 5s at the bottom of the heap. On the sidelines, resting is Ron Coder, the 4-year guard out of Penn State, free agent for the Cardinals, trying to root somebody home. The Cardinals started the first time on their own 41 but couldn't move. Now they have it 2nd and 7 on their 24-yard line. And it's Otis Anderson butting heads across the 25, getting to the 26-yard line. Remember, it is the same Otis Anderson who gained 151 yards against the Eagles in September. In 3 career games against the Eagles, he has averaged better than 115 yards a game. Of course, when you talk about 100-yard games, he's had 14 of them in the 30 NFL games he's played in.
Well, that's remarkable. He's a great back already. The Eagles just came in with their nickel personnel. Claude Humphrey, number 87, to rush the passer.
3rd and 5 on the 27-yard line for Jim Hart. Remember, he's wearing a flak jacket, but he throws to Jeff Lee, who gets it out to the 40-yard line, and another first down. A fine catch by Lee.
Well, Hart had pretty good protection. 4-man rush. He goes underneath to pick up the first down. With a flak jacket, it inhibits your throwing a little bit. That is throwing deep then. Short passes, intermediate passes, not too bad. Most quarterbacks don't like to wear them unless it's an absolute must.
Well, Jim Hart has picked up 2 first downs on passes to Steve and now to Jeff Lee. So he has it 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 39-yard line. And Steve is in a slot right inside Gray. Second man grabbed by Bunting. So Otis Anderson is grabbed by John Bunting, who drops him at the 40-yard line. Good play by Bunting,
Yeah.
a 9-year veteran coming off knee surgery 2 years ago.
Smart linebacker, relays all. Now he's getting the call from the sidelines. Marion Campbell signing the defense. 95 looks over and gets the call. He was dogging. He was a predetermined call for him to come across.
So it is 2nd and 9. The ball on the Cardinal 40-yard line. They started on their own 10. Steve is wide left, Gray is wide right, and it's a quick hitter to Wayne Morris straight ahead for a couple of yards, but he has to get beyond a 49, so he's got a long way to go. Let's go to Brent Musburger in the NFL Today.
Benny, when you're having the kind of a year that Atlanta's enjoying, you even get the calls. The official said that Steve Bartkowski broke the plane on that plunge against San Francisco, and so Atlanta leads the Niners 7-0. Let's send you back now to Vin Scully and George Allen.
All right, back here, it's 3rd and 6. The ball on the 43-yard line of the Cardinals. No score in the early going. And Hart going to send it up if he can, and he is swallowed up. You know, that's the first sack against the Cardinals in 3 games.
Well,
they were not sacked in either of their last 2 games.
The defensive ends did it. Carl Harrison, 78, right in there. Claude Humphrey comes in late. Good 4-man rush.
So the ball now is on the Cardinal 36-yard line. Larry Swider, the punter, 2 years out of Pittsburgh. He ranks 4th in the NFC in punting with a 41-yard average. but his net is not too good. And there's one reason, a line drive. Shara will let the ball hit at the 25, and it's too late to pick it up. Among others, you have Coombs and Baker down there, along with Stone. So with 6 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the first quarter, a battle of punters, and the Cardinals and the Eagles, no score. On a crisp 39-degree day here in Philadelphia, the Cardinals and Eagles, no scores. 6 minutes left in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Eagles on their own 25. And it's Leroy Harris hit at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for a yard or two. Favrin and Baker making the tackles.
Well, so far, Vin, both clubs are doing about what we said at the top of the show. They're running on first down, running on second down, trying to establish the running game and throwing on third down.
Meanwhile, ducking to score the Patriots on a 9-yard run by quarterback Joe Ferguson. Oh, we'll check on that. We'll double check that score.
Yeah, it'd be the other way around.
Yeah, and how? Meanwhile, the Oilers leading the Packers 6-0. So it is 2nd and 8 on the 27. Jaworski taking his drop, fakes to the right, a green to John Spagnola, and he's hit at the 25-yard line by Greer. Just as he got across the 25. Curtis Greer, just as he got across half pick, and he picked that screen up nicely.
Yes, he did. Well, that was a screen to Spagnola with a 3-man rush, 8 men dropping back. It's pretty hard to have that be a successful play. Cardinal defense read it. I think the Eagles, with 52 in there, that rookie linebacker, Charles Baker, they're going to try to pick on him a little bit.
So on a 3rd and 5, Jaworski brings him up. That's Billy Camfield now, number 37 in the backfield with Wilbert Montgomery. And both backs will release. Jaworski going out to the right side to Charles Smith. He makes the reception at the 41-yard line for the first down.
Well, Charles Smith then made a fine catch. They dogged Jaworski on this. See if we can see him. Eagles picked it up. The ball's thrown a little bit low and behind him. Nice catch by Charlie Smith and a big play for a first down.
1st and 10 on the Eagle 41. Jaworski needs 38 yards to pass for 3,000 this year. He'd be the first Eagle quarterback since Roman Gabriel to do that. Wilbert Montgomery dragged down by Bob Pollard as he got out across the 41-yard line. Pollard straight out nicely to make the tackle.
Well, you know, I always stressed 1st and 10, Vin. We have to come up with 4 yards or more in 1st and 10. So far, neither ball club has done anything on 1st and 10.
Leroy Harris with that right arm dangling a little bit. I don't know if he hurt his shoulder, but it would appear to be that. So Harris comes to the sideline. You saw Jaworski blowing on his hand. He had a cold hand against the Eagles in September when he was intercepted against the Cardinals 3 times in that loss. Jaworski gonna go deep in the middle to Montgomery, broken up. Leo Nelson had his hands on the ball, and Lee couldn't hold on to it. Nelson had an interception.
Yeah, Ron tried to loop it in there, tried to steer it in there. Good protection. Time to throw. Watch the ball kind of float in there. Nelson almost had it. Then Montgomery had a chance to recover the deflected ball.
No particular indication of any severe wind at all. Not nearly the breeze, as you can see, just a zephyr for the moment at least. It is 3rd and 10, and Jaworski trying to heat up his throwing hand. And Jaworski again going deep to the right side. He has his man, and Montgomery fumbling after the reception. It's Stone who picks it up at the 20, and Montgomery comes back and knocks him down at about the 24-yard line. So there's a key play, the pass complete, and then the resultant fumble.
Well executed. He read the defense. Fumble, completed pass fumbled. Kenny Stone is an opportunist type of football player, always around the ball. Big play for the Cardinals.
It was Carl Allen who made the big hit that caused Cam Field to fumble. Ron Jaworski with some cold hands. One reason why he's having his problems, but he did complete the pass to Camfield, and then the fumble recovery by the Cardinals. St. Louis 1st and 10 on their own 24-yard line. Mel Gray wide left. It'll be Otis Anderson trying to go outside. Tripped up nicely by Roynell Young.
Boy.
And with that, let's go Brunt Messberger and the NFL Today.
Benny, thank you very much. The Jets missing an early field goal. Archie Manning then drives the Saints 74 yards, 9 plays, 14-yard scoring pass to Jack Holmes. Extra point is good. Saints looking for their first win, lead the Jets 7-0. Let's send you back now to Vin Scully.
It is 2nd and 13 for the Cardinals on their own 21-yard line. 2 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the quarter and no score. Steve in a slot right inside Gray. Anderson trying to cut back. Logan finally brought him down, number 41.
You know what, Vin? Every play that Anderson has carried the ball, he's had 3 tacklers on him. That time 4. They're swarming all over him. Now watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll bet you he has negative yardage up to now.
You know, the top runner in the NFL is Campbell. Then you have Peyton, Sims, and Anderson. He ranks number 4. 3rd and 12 from the 22. And Hart with his back staying in, trying to lead his man. And Gray was cutting in, and the pass went deep down the side.
Well, Hart read the blitz, wanted to send Gray deep. Gray didn't pick up. Now watch. Now Gray cut in, and the ball is thrown to the outside. He was expecting a fly pattern. That was because of the blitz by the Eagles.
And both backs had stayed in to block, so their blitz isn't really that effective. But the pattern backfires. So Larry Swider punting from the 10-yard line and gets a beauty. Back goes John Shara, backpedaling to the 29-yard line of the Eagles. Stone can't get him, but it looked like Randy Love did. Yep. Randy Love, number 40, making the tackle of John Shara, who makes the return just shy of the 40-yard line. So 1 minute and 1 second left in the first quarter. No score. That's the first time an Eagle quarterback has passed for that much in a year since Roman Gabriel in 1973. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 37. And Montgomery gets it out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. First time today, the Eagles have good field position. They started on their 23, the 25, and now on the 37, as you see Marion Campbell.
Yeah, Marion Campbell, their defensive coordinator, has done an excellent job with the defense here. Top defense in the NFC.
They've allowed only 184 points. They're tops in the NFL in that department. So 2nd and 5 on the Eagle 42. Montgomery, deep man out of the eye. Leroy Harris has returned after a brief respite on the sidelines. Montgomery trying to follow Harris, decides to go outside and doesn't really get anywhere. They have to get just beyond the 47-yard line to pick up a first down. Well, among others at the bottom is Curtis Greer.
Yeah, then there's Berkey, coming off a serious surgery last year. Worked hard in the offseason. It's good to see him back. He's a real credit to the game.
So the first quarter is history here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A battle of punts and no score.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Toyota, who invite you to catch the feeling and see the 1981 cars and trucks at your local Toyota dealer. And by Natural Light Beer, brewed with only natural ingredients for a clean, refreshing taste.
start of the second quarter, no score. That's Keith Krefley, who has had his physical problems and doesn't figure to play today. Meanwhile, Jaworski has had his share of problems. There's a balloon on the field, and time will be called until they get it off. And boy, it's one of the biggest balloons you've ever seen. It's finally grabbed up front by Stafford Mays, and eventually it is taken off the field. It is a 3rd and 4 for the Eagles on their 43-yard line at the start of the second quarter. Montgomery is on a wing. Billy Camfield goes back, but now they shift out of that, and Camfield goes on a wing. Carmichael right. Fitzke went left. A little release to Montgomery, and he is tripped up by Carl Allen, hit at the 42, and Montgomery dives forward to the 45, so it's only a pickup of 2, and on a 4th and 2 they will have to punt. The Steelers are leading the Chiefs 7-0 in the second quarter. So on a 4th and 2, the ball on the Eagle 45-yard line. Willard Harrell is back on the 20-yard line. Remember, Roy Green had either a knee or ankle injury. So Harrell will be waiting now for the punt from Max Runniger, who is averaging 39 yards a punt. Good snap, plenty of time, and a good punt. Harrell backing up to the 12, takes the bounce, and down he goes at about the 14-yard line. Flags on the play, as you can see. So Willard Harrell had some trouble, and we'll see about the interpretation of the flag.
Well, that was a good high kick, and the ball was floating. It hit his fingertips. More penalties on the kicking game.
This is Harrell on that punt, dropping it, getting a good bounce. Now watch Rod Phillips, number 36, and there's the clip. You see him running up the back of an Eagle and downing him, and on the clip it'll be against Rod Phillips and the Cardinals.
Well, it was a clip because he hit him in the back. He didn't really clip him below the waist. He just
Personal foul.
bumped him in the back.
Clipping number 64 on the return.
So on a 1st and 10 for the Cardinals, they have the ball on their own 11-yard line. 2 series ago they had it on their own 10.
That's the same.
So the Cardinals in poor field position for the second time. They had it on the 10 and moved it out to the 39. Now they have it on their 7. Theotis Brown, number 33, is taking the handoff, and there goes Theotis out across the 10, almost to the 15-yard line. Interesting story on Theotis Brown. At Roy Green's wedding, his teammate, the ushers were Otis and Theotis, and the best man was Leotis.
You know, when you're keying one back like 32, Anderson, the other back has a chance to have a big game. You're doing everything to stop the tailback, Anderson. And this is what could happen. Either Theotis or Wayne Morris could have a big game.
So 2nd and 2 on the 15-yard line. And they'll try Otis this time. And Otis is boxed in by the Eagles. They drop him right at the 15-yard line, and it was Hairston who boxed him in and dropped him. And let's go to Brent Musburger in the NFL Today.
All right, Vinny, thank you very much. After the Saints scored, the Jets took the kickoff, and they simply rammed it down the Saints' throat. Kevin Long plunging in for the touchdown. The extra point by Leahy good. Tied at 7. Back now to Vin Scully and George Allen.
So 3rd and 2 on the 15-yard line. And this time, Theotis Brown is dropped on a good play. And it was big 68 Dennis Harrison playing bare-armed in the chill in Philadelphia, who dropped him.
Well, they ran the ball. 3rd and 2, gave the ball to the first man, the fullback. Good penetration by the Eagle defense.
And so another punt. Larry Swider standing in the end zone, and deep is John Shara standing at the 45-yard line of Philadelphia. 12-13 to the half, no score. And Swider arrows one out of there. Shara has to go back to the 41-yard line.
across midfield, gets to about the 47-yard line before they drop him. So the Eagles are in excellent field position. Their best prior to this was the 41-yard line. No score, second quarter. With 12 minutes left in the second quarter, no score. The Eagles, however, in excellent field position. First and 10 on the Cardinals' 46-yard line. Leroy Harris and Wilbert Montgomery, the running back. Carmichael left. Charles Smith goes right. Jaworski looking right, and it's for Smith all alone. He fell down, and they will drop the ball dead at the 11-yard line.
Jaworski did the right thing. Good field position. He pumps and he goes deep to Smith. Smith makes a good catch. Ball was falling away from him. Big play. Got behind Carl Allen. They were doubling 17 Carmichael. That's why Carl Allen was one-on-one.
So it is first and 10 on the Cardinal 11-yard line. Charles Smith making the reception, and Jaworski now trying to cash in on the excellent field position. Has moved it to the 11. Montgomery is drilled by Rush Brown, number 69. That's a great name for a lineman, Rush Brown.
It sure is. We called our 4 defensive linemen to give them the idea to rush the passer, so we decided to name him Rushman. Called him Rushman. So this guy has a name. He should never play offense. Always stay on defense.
You know, he never played football in high school. Said he never even watched a football game on television. Went into the Air Force. Finally played football for the first time in his life, and here he is a pro.
I like him. He's doing a job.
Loss of 1, so it is second and 11 on the 12-yard line. Spagnola, the tight end, is in motion to the right. And they're looking into the end zone for Carmichael. No good. Roger Worley and Stone were right there with him to double cover.
Well, that was the coverage. Kenny Stone, 23, comes over. Carmichael fakes the play action of the fullback. The ball's way too high. And he probably threw that ball purposely high because he saw the free safety, Kenny Stone, coming over there. If he throws it in, possible interception.
And remember that in this first half, at least, Carmichael has not as yet made a reception. He has a string of 126 consecutive games in which he has caught at least 1 pass. And there's Harold, who caught 5 passes against the Cardinals in September. Third and 11 from the 12. Jaworski again to Carmichael, and it just went through his fingertips. Might have led him by an inch or two too much.
And you know why, Vin? He was jammed. They were using what we call a SAM defense. A strong safety came up and just jammed him just enough to throw off his timing. Made Jaworski overthrow him a little bit.
So Harold Carmichael comes up empty on 2 counts. The catch and the touchdown, and he is still muttering to himself about how that one got away. And so they look to Tony Franklin. And the barefoot boy with John Shara holding at the 19. Franklin asked to kick a 29-yard field goal. He is 13 for 23. He has kicked a 51-yard field goal. He has missed one from 60. And Shara's going to keep it. And Shara is to the 10, to the 5, and down at the 2. It did not look like he made the first down, however. I don't believe he made it from our angle. Now we'll see where they spot it.
Well,
he didn't make it.
He did not.
Nope.
He raised his arm as if he were going to pass here, but there's nobody downfield for him to throw to.
What do you think of that play, George?
Well, it's quite a gamble. They must have had something there for them to call it. They must have seen something in the defense.
And Charles Baker saved the bacon for the Cardinals. It looks like John Shara meant to pass while on the run, George.
Yeah, usually you have somebody downfield, so it's a pass or run, but there was no Eagle downfield. It's a little bit too long of a run to pick up the first down.
So he missed by a half a yard, and the Cardinals now have it first and 10 on the Cardinal 3-yard line. Theodis Brown and Otis Anderson, and it's Anderson tripping out to maybe the 5-yard line.
Well, Otis Anderson's going to pay for every yard he makes today. The Cardinals came out of this in pretty good shape. They really should be behind a field goal, because that's a chip shot for Franklin.
So the Cardinals, the last time they had the ball, they had it 1st and 10 on their own 7. Now they had it 1st and 10 on their own 3, and it is 2nd and 8 on the Cardinal 5-yard line. No score. 9.5 minutes to the half. And it's Theodis Brown, and he's belted at the 5-yard line by Harrison. He falls forward maybe to the 6. That's the second big tackle by Dennis Harrison.
Well, then, you know, the Cardinals started the game with 2 tight ends, and they have 2 tight ends on these last 2 downs. And when you see that type of formation, you can play run over pass about 85%, and that's what the Eagles are doing. Now the Cardinals come in with their passing personnel, and the Eagles come in with a nickel defense.
You know, the Cardinals have won their last 2 games despite being penalized 20 times. Hart is going to pass from the end zone. And it's to Jeff Lee, tackled by Blackmore as he falls across, and it's just a question of where they spot the ball. And it would look like he will not make the first down by inches from this angle, but they're going to measure anyway. When he went down, he tried to extend himself to his fullest to get the first down.
I just want to say something about this guy, number 17. Over the years, we really used to have a battle trying to defense him. I have a lot of respect for him as a football player and a person, and for him to play today, Vin, I know he's in pain. Probably had to be wrapped up and maybe take a shot, but that shows a lot of character because...
Well, there's the inch we were talking about. I can't believe that a man stretches and he misses by an inch.
That's right, because this game, the Cardinals out of it. For a guy to play like Hart shows the type of a competitor he is, you know.
Now, when we look at that chain, it appeared as if the ball was shy of the chain, but now they have indicated no, that they did make it.
Yeah, they gave him a first down.
We'll take it. 1st and 10 on the great stretch by Jeff Lee. Ball on the Cardinal 13-yard line. In motion is Steve. Play action fake to Theodis Brown, and Hart is going deep to Gray. No good.
Well,
no flag, but Gray is arguing that he was bumped.
I tell you what, Hart threw a perfect ball, and this is his favorite pass on first down. Now watch him fake to the fullback, and he sends Gray deep, and Gray is slowed down here, bumped, or slowed down himself. Let's see if we can see it.
It's already happened.
Can't see it. Just that bump, or Gray slowed down himself, made the ball be overthrown. That ball was on the button for a big completion.
You know, Jim Hart has done well over the years, as you see Houston leading Navy 28-0 in the second. Hart's record against the Eagles, 16-6. He only needs 80 yards to pass the 3,000 mark for the 3rd time in his career. 2nd and 10 on the 13. Theodis Brown, Otis Anderson, and it's Anderson trying to cut back, and he is taking a lick. And that time it is Hairston and Johnson, a pair of movable bookends, who really put the bite on him.
I think the strength of this Eagle defense is their linebackers. They're all mobile. They're physical. They're smart football players. Look at that. Every play we've seen 2 and 3 men in a tackle.
It's to the defense that the only thing the opposition has been able to do of late is pass against the Eagles. In the last 6 games, 9 touchdowns passing against the Eagles. In the first 8 games, they allowed only 3. And Hart is going to try and beat the rush. Throwing on the run, broken up, intended for Gray, and Herman Edwards was all over him.
I haven't seen Hart scramble like this in quite a while.
That's Ken Clark who's going to come in there to put the heat on him.
He got in there on a stunt. Hart rolls out, and now you know he won't run. Does the right thing, throws downfield. Good defense.
However, down on the field is Carl Hairston, and Hairston is hurt. The veteran, 5 years from Maryland State, who had 15 sacks last year, and he always puts a great deal of pressure.
And that usually happens on a scramble, Vin, that type of play.
Carl Hairston shaken up, but leaves the field under his own power. This will be the 7th punt that we've had in this first half. Larry Swider punting from his own 3-yard line. Standing deep is John Shara at the 36. And Shara still on his feet and buried at about the 38. Flag on the play. Stone made the tackle, and we'll see about the interpretation of that one. To repeat, in their last 2 victories, the Cardinals have been penalized 20 times.
Well, that's an awful lot. Again, I've talked about the penalties on the kicking game all through the special teams. There's another penalty.
Against the Eagles, a clip.
And actually, it was more of a push than anything else. That's good news on Carl Hairston, because he's a big key to that Eagle defense, Ben, that he's a
Personal foul. Flip. Number 37 on the kick return team.
You can take a look in the upper left-hand corner of your screen as Shara comes down. You see Love and Coombs, and running into Coombs, and that was the cause of the clip.
It was more of a collision than a clip.
So add the clip, and that puts the ball at the Eagle 24-yard line. 1st and 10. No score. 7 minutes to the half. Carmichael goes left. Smith goes right. And it's Montgomery tripped up across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. So Wilbert Montgomery carrying it.
Then I didn't get a chance to mention it, but that last punt by Kreider, the hang time was 4.8. That's pretty good hang time. And that's what you need when you're kicking out of your own end of the field.
Wilbert Montgomery, so far, just like Otis Anderson has been shut down, Montgomery has rushed for 9 yards. Anderson has rushed for 11 yards. That's all. It is 2nd and 8 on the 27-yard line. On a play action fake, setting up to go over the middle to John Spagnola. No good.
He had the right call. All he needed was the execution. Double. Spagnola was wide open.
Friends, for those of you in New York watching the ball game on Channel 2, it's about 8 minutes to 2 o'clock. We'd like to remind you that your station will be leaving this telecast about 2 p.m. to cover a memorial service in Central Park for John Lennon. Following that report, we will update any action you have missed. That's for those of you in New York City watching the game on Channel 2.
Up 27. 1st down.
Well, that's a break for the Eagles.
So it is now a 1st and 10 on that defensive holding charge against the Cardinals. That made it an automatic 1st down. So 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line. Jaworski to Carmichael, and now the screen. Pollard missed him, but he's nailed from behind. So on the play that the Eagles call a 4:44 stop, it was in a national publication this week for all of us to read.
Well, they do this real well. They've done it over the years. It's a quick screen to Carmichael. He goes downfield, then he comes back. And now this big guy runs well with the ball after the catch. He's a good runner with the football.
So it is 2nd and 5, and of course that reception makes it 127 straight for Harold Carmichael. Carmichael and Smith go in a slot left. Harrington is now in there with Montgomery. Perry Harrington, number 35. Montgomery with Harrington blocking on Lee Nelson, and there he goes. Flags on the play, and he's going to be caught from behind by Roger Worley, but there are flags way back on the 40-yard line.
A heck of a block by Harrington, then. Did you see Harrington's block?
He threw it on Lee Nelson, but it's going to be against the Eagles. A 57-yard play call back. Perry Harrington threw a good block on Lee Nelson to open it up. Watch 35 leading Montgomery. Well, he's just out of your frame. But that's why Nelson didn't get in there. There's Carlin chasing him. Slowed him down. Roger Worley coming over in front of Carmichael. Finally takes the stiff arm and corrals him, and it's all for naught for Wilbert Montgomery, and the play call back.
Offensive holding, the line of scrimmage.
And of course, remember the Eagles lost to Atlanta last week, where an interception was called back that might have changed the game. So Jaworski and the Eagles still can't believe it. It's no score. 5 minutes left to the half. There you see on the right-hand side is Woody Peoples, number 69.
Well, then if that's the holding, that's probably the guy they call Woody Peoples. Look, he has his right arm around the defender. They didn't identify the person that was holding.
So it is 2nd and 15 on the Eagle 27. After a 57-yard scamper by Montgomery goes for naught. Jaworski dropping the handoff. Rush Brown was right there, along with McIntyre, to wrap him up easily. He's got bad hands today. He's been blowing on him all day long.
Yeah, it almost looked like a quarterback draw. He turned it into a quarterback draw. Well, when it's cold like that, the ball coming up, the snap, your fingers are stiff, and there's a tendency to fumble that football.
It's windier too now,
yeah,
George,
right
on the field.
Yeah, so wind's stronger. You can see.
That's Tony Franklin and his hair blowing in the breeze. I bet his foot is freezing. He keeps that thing warm until needed. So 3rd and 16 on the Eagle 26. Jaworski going down the left side to Charlie Smith. He made the reception. And he caught it just inside the 44-yard line.
What a great throw and a great catch.
Flag on the play.
Another flag, but let's watch this play. He catches the back half of the ball. Watch Charlie Smith make this catch.
He had both feet down, perfect reception, and there's a penalty. So the play counts. The penalty was against the Cardinals, so it is a 30-yard pass play going in favor of the Eagles on that great catch by Charles Smith. They're going to cut the ball just inside the 44-yard line of the Cardinals.
Here it is again. Pretty good protection. Well thrown ball. And a fine catch by Charlie Smith, staying in bounds. He caught the back end of the ball.
1st and 10 Eagles on the Cardinals 44. 4:24 to the half. No score. Jaworski to Montgomery, and he is decked by big number 76, and that's Stafford Mays. And let's go to Brent Musburger in the NFL Today.
Vinny, thank you very much. The Jets have taken a 10-7 lead on the Saints. 26-yard field goal here by Pat Leahy. Report out of Buffalo, quarterback Joe Ferguson, sprained left ankle, will not play. Let's send you back now to Vin Scully and George Allen.
And, you know, 76 for the Cardinals. Just
Stafford
made that
Mays.
Stafford Mays. Gets off on the ball like a shot, and he's almost offside in every play. He takes all the ball he can get.
So 2nd down and 16, the ball on the 49-yard line. Carmichael in a slot left. And Jaworski over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, John Spagnola. And right there with him was the rookie linebacker, Charles Baker. As you said going into the game, George, with Mark Arneson out with a bad ankle, number 52, Charles Baker, is the rookie linebacker out of New Mexico. They're trying to burn him, and they haven't been able to do it. He's done an excellent job.
Yes, they're going to test him on both the run and the pass. Jaworski's been a little bit high on his passes over the middle to the tight end. He's had him open, but he's thrown them a little too high. There's a big down for both sides.
Tim Collier now in. 5 defensive backs to try and thwart Jaworski. 3rd and 16 from the 49-yard line of St. Louis. Both backs release, and Jaworski over the middle to Fitzke, and Fitzke makes the reception. Riding him down is Ken Green, shy of the 35-yard line, and they have to get inside the 34 for a first down.
Well, it's nice to have Fitzke back for Jaworski because he's sure-handed, tough football player, doesn't have the great speed, but he doesn't make mistakes. Now, I think that puts them in range. Now they're going to go for they're going to punt the ball.
Yes,
I thought
they
with
are.
a guy like Franklin, with that leg he has, but they don't want to take any chances.
So on a 4th and a long 3, the Eagles will come up with the 8th punt that we've had in this first half. Frank Lemaster in there to pick up strays. Deep is Willard Harrell standing on the Cardinal 10-yard line. And it's Lemaster taking the snap, and he goes for the first down. How about that play?
Well, you you see, then the reason they didn't go for a field goal, watch the snap to 55, they knew that this play was there by the defensive lineman. Studying the films, Len Stiles, special team coach, knew they had a chance to get about 4 yards. Good call.
So Frank LeMaster carries the ball. That is the second time he has carried the ball this year. The last time they tried that play, they picked up 11 yards. This time, almost as good, they picked up a first down.
He'll have the highest rushing average of anybody in the club.
For linebackers, for sure. The preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League. So the Eagles have tried two somewhat unorthodox plays. John Shara running out from holding a field goal attempt, missed a first down. But now Frank LeMaster, who was in the backfield apparently to block for punter Max Runiger, runs for the first down on the Cardinal 27. Leroy Harris on a wing. Now he comes back with Montgomery. Carmichael is right and Smith is left. And they pitch it to Montgomery. And he is tripped up right at the 25-yard line. And it was a good play by Stafford Mays, who took the block and still upended him.
Yes, and he's going against an all-pro tackle, Jerry Sizemore. Stafford Mays looks like he can develop into a good football player. He gets off on the ball well, can rush the passer.
As you can see, Montgomery has 5 yards, and LeMaster, the linebacker, has twice as many. There's an upset of the year. So it is 2nd and 7 on the 24. There's Montgomery. Woody Peebles blocking for him, and Montgomery gets down inside the 10-yard line before going out of bounds.
That's a smart call. Excellent call in that area of the field. Little screen pass to your best running back, Montgomery. He lets the defense come in, sucks them in, dumps it off. Woody Peebles, 69 out there in front. Throws a block. Good yardage. First down.
Calvin Favron and Lee Nelson finally knocking him out of bounds. He'll spot it at the Cardinal 8. So it's 1st and goal on the Cardinal 8. We only have 1 minute and 10 seconds left to the half. No score. Montgomery. Slowed down and dragged down. Steve Niels got him. So a big play by Niels.
Well, Nelson, watch Nelson also get across. Penetration stops sweeps. See the penetration? Nelson slowed him down a little bit. Niels made the play.
Though it is 2nd and goal, they lose 3 yards on the play. It's now at the 11-yard line. The Eagles had it on the Cardinal 12-yard line and then ran out of the field goal formation the last time. 2nd and goal on the 11. In motion is Charles Smith, picked up by Carl Allen. The pass is to Charles Smith, and he is finally stacked up at the 10-yard line. Carl Allen might have suffered an eye injury, and with 18 seconds left, we still have no score. Carl Allen was shaken up. I think somebody stuck him in the face. If we can see 27 right in there.
There he is.
Now watch what happens to Allen, first of all. That's Sizemore coming over, and Sizemore hooked him with his left hand, and Allen can't make the play.
Probably hit him in the eye.
Yeah, he got him with his left hand. Pretty good left hook by Sizemore.
You know, then Jaworski used a lot of that clock. They have all their timeouts left, I believe, and there's only 18 seconds on the clock.
So Dick Vermeil trying to snap a 2-game losing streak, a very big game. Remember, the Eagles beat Dallas early in the year. If Philadelphia wins and Dallas loses, then the Cowboys must defeat the Eagles in the final game to tie at 12-4.
Yeah.
But we have only 18 seconds in a very hard-hitting first half, no score.
And it's 3rd and 8, so they're going to have to throw. They're going to have to throw down here with the time remaining 18 seconds. And if it's incomplete, they still have a chance to kick a field goal. They're going to have to throw for a touchdown.
And it is very important, of course, that Carl Allen be in that defensive secondary. and he is not.
44. Collier's in there.
Tim Collier has had to relieve him.
He got poked in the eye.
3rd and goal on the 8-yard line. Jaworski looking for Smith. No good. Roger Worley was right there with him. No interference.
Now, Worley had position on him. Watch Worley, 22, the top of the screen, right with him, man for man. The ball's overthrown.
You know, 2 years ago, Worley beat Philadelphia with an end zone interception. And when you throw the ball anywhere around him, you're flirting with dynamite. He had 35 interceptions in his career, and Worley this year has just one. As we see Tony Franklin, and let's see about Shara now. He's holding on to 15. You remember the last time he tried to run for a first down, but this is 4th and goal from the 8. So Franklin drills it and misses as it hits and bounces back.
They roughed the holder or the kicker.
Well, a flag. You see Tony Franklin is down, so let's see.
I believe it's against the Cardinals. They roughed him.
There is no foul.
No.
Defender was pushed into the kicker.
Oh, they
There is no foul.
So no foul. Take another look. That's Shara and Franklin. And on the left side of the screen in a blur, you saw the push.
They threw the flag, and then after conferring, they ruled that he was pushed. Here it is. Here's another shot. Snaps a little bit to the right and high. There's the kick. It hits the upright. Now right there. Well, he wasn't pushed in. He tried to let up, and he knocked him down. It's a little bit of acting also.
So the Eagles come up empty again, and of course, since the line of scrimmage was the 8, the field goal misses. It's now on the Cardinal 20-yard line. So the Cardinals, for the second time, have dodged a bullet, and they go to a drop just to eat up the clock as Mike Lloyd was in there at quarterback for the final play of the first half. The Wolves are howling at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Eagles have had a couple of golden opportunities, and they have come up empty. And at halftime, no score between the Eagles and the Cardinals. A rather surprising first half at that.
Well, it's been a game, been a little bit like we discussed, basic football, nothing fancy. Running the football first, running on first down, running on second down, only throwing when you have to throw. Both sides are playing conservative.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota, who invite you to catch the feeling and see the 1981 cars and trucks at your local Toyota dealer. Michelob Light, an exceptionally light beer with a rich, smooth taste. And by your Sears Tire and Auto Center, home of straight talk, good values, and satisfaction.
The St. Louis Cardinals ready to start the second half, and the kickoff. The deep man is Perry Harrington, and Harrington of the Eagles takes it at the 14-yard line. To the 20, to the 25, down at about the 29-yard line, and the ever-present Ken Stone right there among others. He's in on just about every kickoff and punt, George.
Well, you know, then I signed him to a Redskin contract. I think he was a 10th pick. Then we put him on waivers. Nobody picked him up. We brought him back for Thanksgiving Day against Detroit. He blocked 2 punts and recovered a fumble. And he leads the Cardinals in interceptions. He's that type of guy. He gives you everything he has, plus a little bit more.
That's Ken Stone, 8 years out of Vanderbilt. Meanwhile, the Eagles, trouble getting off the ground today. They start the second half scoreless, 1st and 10 on the yard line. In motion is Charles Smith, picked up by Collier. And they'll go to Montgomery. And he's out across the 35 to the 36. The Eagles have tried a little chicanery today, and one of them that did work was this play. Max Runiger in punt formation. That's Frank LeMaster, the linebacker, and it was LeMaster running out of punt formation for 10 yards and a first down. It was the second time this year LeMaster had rushed with the ball. He's picked up 21 yards and 2 tries this year on that play, but it didn't work. Franklin's field goal hit the upright. 2nd and 5 on the 36. They'll try Montgomery again, and he's grabbed him from behind, and down he goes. He got out across the 35 to about the 37. Jeff McIntyre and Curtis Greer, among others, making the tackle.
And then you don't run a play like that LeMaster snap unless you see something on the defense. It has to be there before you use it.
Then, just to add to the frustration, this 25-yard field goal attempt, Shara made the hold. Tony Franklin kicks it, and he hooks it, and it will hit high up on the upright and carry him back out onto the field. Franklin no good, and it means no score at the start of the second half. 3rd and 2 from the 38. Montgomery picking up the first down. Gets out across the 45-yard line.
Well, Montgomery really ran hard on that play. Off-tackle play, going for the first down. Really running hard, protecting the ball as he's going down. You know, the year ago, Montgomery led the league in fumbles, fumbled 14 times then. He's only fumbled twice here.
That's right. That's really learning in a hurry, and it's a tribute to Dick Vermeil. Excellent coaching to turn him around. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 46-yard line. Jaworski play action fake. Now to the left side, no good. The intended receiver was Harold Carmichael, and right there was Roger Worley. You got 2 All-Pros fighting on that side.
Well, this is one of the first times they've thrown on 1st and 10. Play action, going back, going to Carmichael all the way, but he's rushed just a little bit. He couldn't set and throw properly. Threw the ball short.
Jaworski so far has passed for 150 yards, going the ball 17 times. So he has gone well over the 3,000 mark. On a 2nd and 10 from the Eagle 46. No score. Jaworski going down the right side. And a flag on the play. Charles Smith making the catch. Tim Collier was there defending. And let's see.
Well, Collier was right on him. Good catch. Fine execution. This is the type of play that could be called either way. Now watch Collier right with him.
And another thing, Collier is playing Carl Allen, who suffered what appeared to be almost a punch in the eye by Jerry Sizemore, is out of the game. And of course they need Allen desperately in that secondary.
I thought that was pretty good defense, Vin. I didn't see a penalty there.
So on the Cardinal 37, 1st and 10. Jaworski looking left and now going hard down the middle. And once again, Charles Smith making the reception against Tim Collier. And it's one-on-one, and Smith is winning the battle.
Well, here's how Jaworski has developed. He wants to go over to his right side. He comes back and finds the open receiver, Smith. Guns it in there. He took the man that was open on the defense with a pattern call. That's good coaching by Sid Gilman and the offensive staff.
Well, the Eagles have had the ball on the Cardinal 12. They also had it on the Cardinal 8. Now they have it 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 18. And it'll be Montgomery. And Montgomery gets to about the 16-yard line.
You know what, Ben? It looks like Dick Vermeil got on these guys. There's a little more life, a little more energy out there. This first series on offense is very, very important for the Eagles. The same way for the Cardinals. You got a scoreless tie. You can go down and put points on the board. The first time you get on the field, first series, it seems to give you the momentum you need to control the game.
You know, it's second time in the last 4 weeks the Eagles were in a scoreless half. They were scoreless against Oakland. 2nd and 8 at the 16-yard line. And Jaworski throwing in the end zone to Carmichael. No good, and Roger Worley right there with him.
Well, Jaworski did the right thing. He's got Carmichael back up pattern, straight back on a corner pattern. Big, tall guy, 6'8", overthrows him just off of the fingers. That's the safe way. If you overthrow him, it shouldn't be intercepted. The worst you should get out of it is an incomplete pass.
In pass receptions, Charles Smith has caught a half a dozen for 120 yards. Carmichael has caught one for 5 yards.
And that was
Third and 8.
Yeah, and that was a screen pass, Ben.
And the Eagles calling a timeout. They'll go to the bench, will Jaworski, and talk things over with Coach Dick Vermeil on a 3rd and 8 on the Cardinals 16. No score. It is 3rd and 8, Eagles on the Cardinals 16. No score, but the Cardinals are certainly paying the price. Their injury list keeps getting longer and longer. We'll tell you about it in a moment. Fitzke goes left. Carmichael and Smith go right. And that's Canfield in the backfield. And the pass is batted down. It is Mark Arneson, who's been banged up, who came in there to knock it down. Let's give you the Cardinal injury list. First of all, Jim Hart is not going to play. Lloyd is going to take over. Jankowski is out. Acker is out. Favron, the linebacker, is out with a bad knee. Carl Allen has not come back in since he took a punch in the eye. And the Cardinals doing a tremendous job.
They're staying right in there, and Arneson blocked that because he was dogging, and he got his hands up.
So the hold is on the 23-yard line. A 33-yard field goal attempt by Franklin. This one is up, and this one is no good. And the Eagles are still on the ground. And Tony Franklin can't believe it. He missed from 25. Now he misses from 33. That means he has kicked 13 out of 25 this year.
Well, Ben, the rule is you have to make the ones that count. This is a chip shot for him. You have to make that. You can't miss that type of a kick. You may miss the long one, but you don't miss the short ones.
Mike Lloyd, 2 years out of Missouri Southern State, will take over for Jim Hart. Hart, who gave it his best shot, but his ribs evidently aching in the cold, and so Mike Lloyd takes over. A free agent last year. He was released and re-signed by the Cardinals. And Lloyd is going to put it up. Throwing intended for Doug Marsh, the tight end, and Marsh with Roynell Young right there with him.
Well, he doesn't lack any confidence. He starts right out throwing the ball off a play action. Through the type of pass he threw, you have to throw it accurate to complete it. He overthrew him.
Talking about accuracy, you look at the numbers of Mike Lloyd to see how much work he's had. He had made 4 passes prior to today. So it is 2nd and 10 on the Cardinal 20. No score in the ball game. Mel Gray is wide right. Steve goes wide left. And Logan trying to break it up. And there's Otis Anderson trying to run laterally at the 20-yard line. Jerry Robinson and Charlie Johnson there to make the tackle. And Otis can't go anywhere today. They have done a magnificent job of tying him up. Well, 10 carries for 8 yards.
Right. Well, at the end of the first half, then he had 9 carries for 9 yards. The Cardinals' total offense the first half was only 43 yards.
Of course, it's not fair just to talk about Anderson's frustration today. Look at Wilbert Montgomery.
Same way.
He had 9 carries for 3 yards.
3 yards. Both clubs running the ball first, passing second.
3rd and 10 on the Cardinals for 3 yards. Lloyd throwing to Steve, and he made the reception at the 40-yard line. Herman Edwards all over him.
And you know what Lloyd did and what the Eagle defense did? They came after him right away. They dogged him right away. Here they come. Right in his face. Steve made the great catch. The ball was thrown over his outside shoulder, and he adjusted and picked up the first down.
They call Steve the Spider. Last year, he caught a 55-yard touchdown pass against Philadelphia. Steve is playing because Pat Tilley is out with a groin strain. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 40-yard line. it upstairs. And he goes too far to Steve.
He throws a long ball, Vin, with not much arc. He throws it a line drive. It's difficult to run under it. You got to lay it up there, let him run under it. You know, the guy that I always used to worry about when we played the Cardinals among the receivers was number 85, Mel Gray.
Mel Gray.
That guy was the home run hitter. I don't think he's caught a ball
No,
today, has he?
No, he hadn't. Watch Steve now as he battles his way through the Eagles secondary. That's Herman Edwards with him.
Well, he's open. Well, no, he isn't either.
No, because coming over was Bernard Wilson to pick him up. 2nd and 10 on the 40. Here comes Anderson, and he's out across the 45 to the 46, but he has to get to midfield for the first down.
You know, Mike Lloyd is not too mobile, not too quick, but he can run. He's the type of guy that can make some yardage by running straight ahead, and he's that type of quarterback.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, on a 3-yard run by James Hadnett, have taken a 10-7 lead over the Steelers with 7:54 left in the third quarter. 3rd and 4 on the 46. Big play for Mike Lloyd at quarterback for Jim Hart. Gray and Lee in a slot right, but they're going to go on the ground. Anderson, he didn't get anywhere. The Otis Anderson hit by Ken Clark, and what appeared to be a passing situation, Lloyd stayed on the ground.
You said it right. I was just going to say that 3rd and 3 is passing. Defense likes to see him running 3rd and 3. By the way, I don't think we reported this, that Joe Ferguson, the Buffalo quarterback, sprained his left knee. We gave that score earlier.
Larry Swider will be punting for Cardinals from his own 35-yard line. John Shara is deep on the Eagle 20-yard line. Good snap. The Eagles can't get in, and the punt seems to hang 35-yard line. And he is hit by Steve. And Steve hit him just as he made the reception at the 21-yard line.
And then, just what you said, that punt did hang, it floated, and that made it difficult for John Shire to catch it, and that's why he fumbled the ball, but he recovered his own fumble.
The Eagles put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 22-yard line. No score. Carmichael left and Smith right. And it's Perry Harrington backing out across the 25. George, I have a question. The Cardinals have punted the ball 6 times so far today. In a breakdown of the average football game, first of all, how many times do you expect your team to get the football?
Well, in an average game, then regulation game, about 12, 13 series, you'd have the ball. Now, if they punted 6 times or 8 times, whatever it is, that means you only got 4 more shots to put points on the board. I used to use that defensively. Hey, they're only going to get the ball 3 more times, you know, 2 more times.
2nd and 6 on the 26-yard line. Here's Harrington, and the Cardinals box him at the 30, but he drives forward and might have made the first down on his own. It depends on where they spot it. Perry Harrington is a rookie out of Jackson State, and he did pick up the first down.
You know what he does, Ben? He makes yardage on his own after he's hit, and that's a test of a good back.
When he was a junior, he was 34 yards shy of Walter Payton's records at Jackson State. They tell us he was timed in college, running the 40 in 4.4. He was a 2nd-round draft choice this year, and he can move it and figures to play a lot. Perry Harrington. 1st and 10 on the 32 of the Eagles. Jaworski on a screen to Carmichael. Out across the 40. Tim Collier had read the screen, but when he came up, he was pushed out of the play, and it was up to Stafford Mays to finally make the tackle.
Well, Carmichael uses his blockers well. Now watch him let the blockers form and block out by Sizemore on Collier, and then he comes underneath. Again, Carmichael runs well with that football after the catch.
Otis Anderson, very much frustrated offensive back today. He has been shut down completely by the Eagles. 2nd and 2 on the 40-yard line, and Jaworski going to Montgomery, and Rush Brown.
Yeah.
Rush Brown made the tackle.
I would call him Rushman Brown. There he is, over the center. Now watch him get rid of him. Get rid of the blocker and come back and make the tackle. Boy, that's tremendous defense on Montgomery. They got a fine young football player in Rushman Brown.
Rush Brown is from Ball State College, and incidentally, the nickname of Ball State, the Cardinals.
Yeah.
1st and 10 on the Eagle 43. Play action fake, and Jaworski, a little looper, no good. Intended for Perry Harrington, and it was Stafford Mays, another rookie. He's 6'2". He got his hands up and knocked it down. Meanwhile, the Patriots in Buffalo, Kavanaugh to Andy Johnson, 21 yards for a touchdown, and that makes it now 21-0 Patriots. And remember, the Bills have lost their starting quarterback. Joe Ferguson went out. Dan Minucci, the backup quarterback, is unable to score for Buffalo. So 2nd and 10 on the 43 for the Eagles. And Jaworski throwing deep, no good. Intended for John Spagnola. The big tight end trying to fight his way out.
Yeah, you know what? Then I think he stopped. Let's see it. Spagnola stopped and Jaworski overthrew him. Now he's held up a little bit. That throws the timing off. Yeah, he did. See, he stopped and then he overthrew him. Jaworski expected him to run a seam pattern and keep going.
So Jaworski now faced with a 3rd and 10 on the 43-yard line. Jaworski so far has piled up a lot of yardage, 194 yards passing, but no score. Billy Camfield is back in there again. Camfield releases, and the pass is caught by Charles Smith. Oh, what another great reception for the first down.
That's a perfect description for it. Charles Smith has made 3 great catches today. I didn't think he could get this ball. The ball is low and outside, and he's covered as well. Here it is. Now watch this catch. It took a perfect pass to the outside. If he underthrows it, it could be picked off.
And by the way, the defender was Carl Allen, who has healed and is back in the secondary. The ball is on the Cardinal 48-yard line. 1st and 10 as they moved it now to the 44. Here comes Montgomery, and it is Stafford Mays who comes in to drill him. Big play by Mays.
You know, Vin, at halftime we bumped into Billy Bidwell, and the one thing I said is I like that Stafford Mays. You know what? He's upfield all the time, coming across, and he gets off on the ball. You asked the question, Vin, what would a scoreless tie do? The Eagles would lose 1/2 game in the standings to Dallas if they had a tie game today.
On the sideline, veteran Dan Deerdorf.
Good man, all-pro.
2nd and 14. The ball on the Cardinal 48-yard line. Play action fake, and Jaworski zipping it in. No reception that time. Collier was all over the intended receiver, and Tim Collier doing a good job that time of breaking it up. Charlie Smith almost making another fine reception.
You might wonder why Jaworski's throwing so much to Smith. Well, at the top of the show, we talked to Carmichael. He said they're going to double team me. Once in a while, I've even been triple teamed. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So Smith is one-on-one, and that's where you throw. You take what the defense gives you.
So it is 3rd and 14. The ball on the 48-yard line of St. Louis. No score. 4.5 minutes left in the game. In the 3rd period, yeah. And a great attempted catch by Carmichael, who has really belted Ken Stone, number 23, knocking Carmichael down on his numbers.
Well, Carmichael was extended, unprotected body, had it on his fingertips, and Kenny Stone came over and made the play. Here it is on the split screen. Jaworski setting up, following Carmichael all the way. Good throw and a fine catch. Watch this, right on the fingertips. Kenny Stone knocks it loose.
You know, after seeing that lick, it reminds us he's talking about selling his two-story home because he has been so beaten up and bruised he can't climb the stairs. Now you know why. Max Runiger punting one up into the breeze, and it hits on the 23 and goes out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. So we have 4 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter. No score in the ball game. The Cardinals and the Eagles. Ron Coder cheering on the offensive unit of St. Louis. They have it 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 26-yard line. No score. We have 4 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Lloyd handing to Anderson. Jerry Robinson has him as he goes across the 30 to the 31-yard line. And what a battle it took place. Randy Logan and Doug Marsh. Talking about battles, it has been a defensive struggle. And George, a tribute to these two men.
Right, and you know what? Tom Bettis played for me in Chicago when we won the World Championship. He was our middle linebacker, and Marion Campbell was my defensive coach in L.A. So
and of course, Marion Campbell wearing the green of Philadelphia, Tom Bettis wearing the Cardinal of St. Louis. 2nd and 5 on the 31. And Lloyd gives to Theodis Brown, who fumbles, pile up, and let's see.
well,
The Eagles have recovered it.
now that's one of the problems of coming in with a new quarterback. He never has the ball. Theodis Brown never has the ball. You see that? He never had a firm grip on the ball. We want the quarterback to put it in there with some gusto, with some firmness.
The master missed it. There's Logan diving for it. And under the pile, it's Jerry Robinson who finally made the recovery.
That's the first big break of the game either way.
So 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 30-yard line. Big break for the Eagles. Play action fake to Harrington, and Jaworski down the left side, no good. Just too low for Montgomery coming out of the backfield to scoop it up.
He had the right play called. After a turnover, go for the bomb. Go for a big play. Here it is. Good play action. All day to throw, and he underthrows Montgomery. See that? Wide open. Might have scored on it then.
Jaworski from Youngstown, Ohio. You wouldn't think that this chill would bother him, but evidently he's had a lot of trouble holding on to the ball. Or it could be the unseen Emery down there, the wind. But whatever, he's struggling. Even though he's piling up yardage, he's not been able to get on the scoreboard. 2nd and 10 on the 30. So they'll try it to Montgomery, to Charles Smith, and Charles Smith is going to be belted by Roger Worley and driven out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So with all of that, they picked up 2 yards.
Well, when you get a turnover, this is the way I always used to think and try to coach. When you get a turnover in field position, you have to come away with points, because if you don't, your defense has a tendency to go down. They say, hey, we've held this Cardinal team all day to no points, and we give them the ball on the 25-yard line, and they can't score. So you should come away with something.
Well, here's where Jaworski wants to come away with something in both hands. 3rd and 8 from the 28. To Billy Camfield, who's inside the 20 for the 1st down. Finally knocked out of bounds by Arneson about the 16-yard line.
Well, that was a big 1st down for the Eagles. Now, this ball is a little bit underthrown. Canfield makes a pretty good catch. See, the ball's behind him. Not too bad. Kenfield's a strong runner after the catch.
You know, another thing, the Cardinals have had the ball for only one series in this second half, and that defensive unit has to start to get a little tired now. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 15-yard line, and the Eagles desperately trying to get some points. Here comes Campfield, and McIntyre had him at the knees. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter, no score. Charles Smith goes right, Carmichael goes left. And it'll be Montgomery, bumped at the 5, and they stack him up at about, well, maybe at the 10-yard line, right at it. Charles Baker, number 52, the first of many. And we see Petey Pero is back in there, even though he has a bad hip. They didn't think he was going to play much. The number 62 is very much in there.
Well, you know, Vin, neither team, as much running as they have done, has been able to move the ball on the ground.
So from 2nd and 5 on the 10, they moved it to the 9-yard line. So it is now a 3rd down play. Montgomery has carried the ball 60 times for only 21 yards. So 3rd and a long 4. Montgomery. There he goes.
Here it is, one remaining back. A pitch to Montgomery. Good blocking. 3rd and 4. I'm sure the Cardinals expected pass. They ran the ball. Big
That
play.
is his 7th touchdown rushing of the year, and it gives him 11 touchdowns for the season. Franklin's point is good. So with 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the third quarter, we get a score, and it's Wilbert Montgomery running it over. And Philadelphia is now leading St. Louis 7-0 with a little more than a quarter left. 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the third quarter. The Eagles have finally punched it over, capitalizing on a fumble recovery to go 30 yards. Now Franklin's kick, handled by Harrell from 1 yard in. And upended at the 15-yard line, Louis Giamona made a great play. And he's shaken up, but what a great play for Giamona.
He's that type of a football player, going all out, one of their better special team guys. He's again a player they say, well, he's not quite big enough, he's not quite fast enough. He gets the job done. That's all that counts.
The footnote on the numbers, it was a fumble by Theodis Brown on a handoff by Mike Lloyd that was recovered by Jerry Robinson, and then the Eagles went 6 plays and 30 yards for a touchdown. Jim Hannafin trying to get his Cardinals off the ground now. 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line. Play action fake to Anderson. Lloyd hit as he throws, intercepted by Bernard Wilson at the 30-yard line, 25, 20-yard line.
Well, here he goes, play action pass. Eagles are dogging, and he's hit. Just as he releases the ball by Robinson, the ball's underthrown. Bernard Wilson picks it off.
So the fumble by Theodis Brown was converted into a touchdown, and now the interception by Bernard Wilson, and the Eagles are ready to strike again on the first interception of the game.
And 87, Marsh is injured, being helped off of the field. Another tough break for the Cardinals. Looks like a knee.
The Cardinals really being punished in their all-out attempt to keep the Eagles quiet. Next Saturday, the special edition of the NFL Today, and then the Chicago Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The paid attendance here, 68,969. And you see Doug Marsh, the tight end, being assisted off the field.
The way the Cardinals are getting banged up, they won't have a full team to play next week. They only have 2 tight ends. The Eagles, most clubs carry 3 tight ends. They're down to 1 tight end now.
Well, 1st and 10. The ball is on the 19-yard line of St. Louis. And it'll be Wilbert Montgomery, slowed down by Bob Pollard and dropped at the 20-yard line. Pollard hit him first, and Pollard might be shaken up. Curtis Greer finally brought him down, but you can see Pollard is still down. Well, and slowly getting up.
You know, Ben, we haven't said this, but the Cardinal defense has done an outstanding job. Because they've had some bad field position. The Eagles have outplayed them, and the only score they have is that fumble recovery around the 25-yard line that Wilbert Montgomery took in.
The Cardinals have had the ball, I believe, 6 plays in this 3rd quarter. So the defensive team has been out there all 3rd quarter. And with 2 bad offensive plays, that's the only reason that the Eagles are this close to scoring again. The fumble recovery and the pass interception. So it is 2nd and 10 on the 19. Smith goes wide left, and they send Carmichael wide right. And it's Montgomery, and Montgomery is dropped at the 16-yard line.
Well, the way these teams are playing, the Eagles are driving the ball right now. They're going to naturally try to get a touchdown, but a field goal, a 10-point lead, looks like it'd be enough to win this ball game.
Give you an idea of what kind of a game it has been and how great the Cardinal defense has been. Montgomery has carried 19 times for 33 yards. Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Philadelphia 7, the Cardinals nothing. Pause now, a word from your local station.
Sparky Anderson.
They give you an idea of Philadelphia's domination, but again, you have to remember, the only reason the Eagles scored was first on the fumble by Theodis Brown that was recovered by Jerry Robinson, and it took them 6 plays to go 30 yards. The second time they got the ball, an interception by Bernard Wilson. So at the start of the 4th quarter, they have a 3rd and 7 on the Cardinals' 16-yard line. Montgomery and Harris behind Jaworski. Smith and Carmichael go slot right. Jaworski under a blitz, a screen to Montgomery. And there he goes inside the 10 before being knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
Well, they got a perfect defense for it. The Cardinals are dogging, coming after him. Quick screen to Montgomery. Now watch Montgomery let the blockers form. He cuts back, uses his blockers. They ran this same play in the same area of the field before and picked up good yardage.
Well, they picked down to spot it on the Cardinals' 6-yard line. Doug Marsh, the tight end, has a hip pointer. They do not expect him to return. So the Cardinals losing personnel left and right. And the Eagles now 1st and goal on the Cardinals' 6. Jaworski to Montgomery, and they tie him up the yard line.
Oh, this also shows the importance of a veteran quarterback like Jim Hart. The whole organization, your defense, your offense, kicking game, depends on what that quarterback does. Now, Mike Lloyd may be a fine young prospect, but he's a year or 2 away. He hasn't played.
And his backup is a rookie.
And he's got a good first name.
Rusty Licious, certainly that. So it is 2nd and goal on the 4-yard line for the Eagles. Montgomery Peoples blocking, and they stack him up at about the 2. Woody Peoples throwing the block on Collier coming up, and Jeff McIntyre and Ken Green made the tackle, and Montgomery's got to be a little bit tired. He has carried 21 times for only 38 yards.
Boy, this Cardinal defense, we can't say enough. Watch McIntyre come over here, number 50, and put the wood to Montgomery as he tries to cut back. Jeff McIntyre coming right over here. You'll see him right there.
So it is 3rd and goal on the 2. Montgomery and Harris. Carmichael is on a wing now. Dunick is a tight end, and Jaworski in the end zone, juggled and dropped.
Well, I'll tell you why he juggled it and dropped it, Vin. It's a play action, and he's going at top speed to beat his coverage, whoever it is, the linebacker or the corner. Now the ball, he has to wait for it, and it's throwing a little bit behind him, and he's back paddling, never had possession of it.
So Billy Camfield unable to hold on to it as he falls down and rolls over. And Tony Franklin, who is 0 for 2 in field goal attempts today, will now try and kick it while they work on Wilbert Montgomery on the sideline. So the spot by Shara about the 10. It's a 20-yard field goal attempt, up and good. Somewhat of a sarcastic cheer for Tony Franklin's field goal effort that time. So he's kicked 14 out of 26 this year. And the Eagles have capitalized on 2 turnovers. And with 13 and 11 left in the game, it's 10-0 Philadelphia. So the Eagles leading 10-0. Deep is Willard Harrell and Theodis Brown. And Tony Franklin, who just added 3 to the Eagle nest, will kick it off down the right side. It'll hit at the 12, and Harrell will watch it go out of bounds. So the Eagles will be penalized 5 yards. And we'll start it all over again. Vermeil finally getting a little bit of a comfortable lead after a scoreless first half, and actually the Eagles didn't score till about a minute and 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
And that as a result of a turnover, a fumble.
There's the man who fumbled, Theodis Brown, and that's Willard Harrell, number 39.
Well, I'm sure Dick Vermeil's concerned they didn't score a touchdown. They had a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal. But the way their defense is playing, Vin, that should be enough. Mike Lloyd's going to have to throw the football. He hasn't had much experience. The Eagles' defense is one of the best in football. They're going to try to confuse him. They're going to duck him. They're going to disguise their coverage and go after him. He's going to be under a lot of pressure.
All right, the 5-yard penalty, the kick from the 30-yard line, and it's up into the wind. It's going to be caught and fumbled, actually muffed at the 35-yard line. The man who muffed the ball is a tackle, George Collins. You can take another look. He's not accustomed to handling the ball at all, but it got up into that wind.
It looks like he's signaling for a fair catch.
Yeah, I thought he was too.
Look at his hand go up.
But he couldn't hold on to it. George is from Georgia. And finally, it was Randy Clark who saved his bacon by falling on the muffed football at the 35. So the Cardinals have it 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. And
Mel Gray is yet to catch a ball.
Mike Lloyd, the quarterback. Well, they try Otis Anderson again. And Anderson, fighting, got out to about the 37. Mel Gray, the quiet man in the offense today, hasn't had a chance. He has just drawn blanks. Meanwhile, Anderson hasn't really done much better. Anderson has carried the ball 14 times for a grand total of 23 yards. So 2 of the better running backs in the game have been thoroughly shut down, Montgomery and Anderson.
Yeah, Vin, you got to throw a couple of bombs to Mel Gray, even if they're incomplete. He's too much of a threat.
2nd and 7 on the 38. And it's to Wayne Morris. Morris cutting back to the 40 and gets out to about the 42. He has to get to the 45-yard line for a first down. Bill Berge there to make the tackle.
I'll never forget that play. I think you did the game in St. Louis. Pat Fisher and Mel Gray. 5 minutes later, they awarded Mel Gray a touchdown.
Yeah, just about broke your heart.
Toughest loss ever.
No wonder you're remembering Mel Gray. He and Jeff Lee now come to the left. Slot left, 3rd and 2 on the 43. Steve is wide right. And Lloyd is tripped up by Carl Hairston. Hairston tripped him up with a hand. He was fighting his blocker, and he reached out with his right hand and tripped up Mike Lloyd. Take another look at that.
Well, Mike Lloyd's going back, not too nifty going back. I like to see a quarterback set up a little quicker. See, he's taking his time there. Now Hairston comes in with those big long arms and just trips him up at the ankle. Now a little niftier quarterback picking his feet up wouldn't have gone down. Of course, that's experience. And
there's a punt now by Larry Swider. He really drilled that thing out of sight, and Chiara
back picking his feet up
deep, and it got into the end zone, I believe. Yep, it just did get into the end zone after a great Cardinal effort to run it down. They just missed downing it at the 1.
But it looked like somebody had a chance to down that, but I don't think he was aware of it. Now,
there's Chiara letting it bounce.
Watch the ball right here. Right there. There was a Cardinal that had a chance. Now,
Randy Love tried to knock it back on the field. That's Dave Steve knocked on his numbers by Zach Henderson. Now watch the ball on the plane of the goal line. Randy Love tries to keep it back on the field of play. Charles Baker will come over to try and down the ball, but the ball never did go in the end zone. It did, however, break the plane of the goal, and that makes it a touchback. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 20. That turns out to be a 62-yard punt. Louis Giamona upended on his back. Stafford Mays, number 76, who was underneath there. He was on his back and reached up and pulled him down. Say, don't forget, next Saturday, the CBS Sports Spectacular, the NFL Today special edition, the Bears versus the Buccaneers. It's a great afternoon of action. We'll also have skating at its best, world competition in figure skating and barrel jumping, and the special edition of the NFL Today. That's all right here next Saturday on CBS Sports.
You know, Vin, Zach Henderson's block, this is the first game he's been activated on, prevented Steve from that ball. That was the key play.
2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line. And Jaworski going down the middle to Carmichael, in and out. And Green really jerking Carmichael down on that. And right now, quickly, let's go to Brent Musburger and the NFL Today.
All right, Vinny, thank you very much. 14-3, Atlanta leading San Francisco. Steve Bartkowski pulls out. Wallace Francis breaks deep, and they hook up for an 81-yard touchdown. And now Atlanta is about to knock Los Angeles out of title contention in the NFC West. 21-3, 4th period, back to Vin Scully.
Okay, Brent. Little Wallace Francis hauling that in. Here's Jaworski's pass to Carmichael.
Well, Carmichael jumps for it here a little bit. He didn't have to jump, and the ball hit him in the belly and bounced off.
3rd and 10 on the Eagle 20-yard line. Jaworski to Campfield, and Campfield grabbed from behind by Mark Arneson, who drops him at the 25. We really didn't expect to see Arneson.
No.
He has a bad ankle, but there he is scrambling.
It shows his toughness. And Arneson, if Arneson doesn't make that tackle from behind on Campfield, he gets the first down.
We have 9 minutes and 44 seconds left in the game, so there's still a lot of time in this one. But the Cardinals, remember, are playing with a rookie quarterback, Mike Lloyd. Jim Hart did play the first half with bad ribs, unable to answer the bell for the second half. Ron Jaworski has passed for 236 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Willard Harrell is back on the 4-yard line, and Roniger's pin hangs in the punt in the wind. Harrell takes it at the 40, to the 45, John Shara is on his back as he goes across midfield and lands just about on the 49-yard line.
Well, they'll have field position for the first time this half, Ben. Pretty good field position at midfield to try to get something on the board.
Tonight on CBS, everybody's favorite show, 60 Minutes. And then watch your favorite entertainers risk their lives on the 5th annual Circus of the Stars, along with Archie Bunker's Place one day at a time. Right here tonight on CBS. All right, the Cardinals in good field position. 1st and 10 at midfield. Mike Lloyd at the helm. In motion is Chris Combs, the tight end. No good to Mel Gray.
The ball was deflected. Chris Combs in motion. That's the only tight end they have left now. He's going to have to play the remainder of the ball game and on the special teams. The ball is tipped right there. Mel Gray on a short out. That's what Hart used to like to do. Catch a few short ones in front of you and then send them out and up on a deep route.
That's Charlie Johnson, who is shaken up. Charlie will have to come to the sidelines to join, among others, Wilbert Montgomery. They tell us that Montgomery probably will not play anymore. He took a shot and was a little bit woozy when he was knocked out of bounds around the 5-yard line. So Charlie Johnson goes to the pit. The Cardinal defensive team has been great, but the Cardinal offense has been sputtering indeed, especially without Jim Hart. Jeff Lee, and finally a flag on the play. Roynell Young was the Eagle wrestling his man to the ground, and let's see.
Well, you know, Wayne Morris is about a 208-pound fullback, really is a halfback. He's a good athlete, always stays in shape, very flexible.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense.
Well,
Roynell Young will be guilty of the infraction. So not only did he, I think he made the first down on his own anyway.
Yeah. Well, he's just trying to wrestle him down. There's nothing deliberate there. Wayne Morris is strong. I started to say he's flexible. He's very strong. I've met him and talked to him. He's a well-proportioned athlete with good balance.
Well, it is 1st and 10 on the Eagle 25-yard line. 8:55 left in the game. 10-0 Philadelphia. Lloyd to Otis Anderson, and he got away from 3 Eagles. He's back to the line, to the 20, to the 15, and finally pushed out of bounds. Randy Logan had his hands on him at the line of scrimmage, number 41, but it'll take more than hands to bring him down.
You know, then Otis Anderson is at his best when the hole is clogged up and he runs a spontaneous play, and that's what he did on that. They faked the reverse to Mel Gray, 85, but the Eagles defensed it perfectly, and he bounced off, came to the outside, and did this all on his own.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Eagle 12-yard line. The run by Wayne Morris, the unnecessary roughness, and now the escape by Anderson. 1st and 10 on the 12. Wayne Morris to about the 11-yard line. And Charlie Johnson, who had left the game and is back in, makes his presence felt immediately. Meanwhile, the Jets.
That's
20-14 against the New Orleans Saints.
That's battle. I think the Jets were 3-11, and the Saints, of course, 0-14. So.
One of the thoroughly forgettable meetings in the NFL history. We have 8 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game. In motion is Steve. Lloyd, under some pressure, is going to run to the 10 and goes down at about the 7-yard line. So Mike Lloyd, with his receivers covered, trying to scramble.
Well, we talked about it. He showed some running ability here. He's not real mobile, but when he takes off and runs, he can make some yardage in a straight line or to the sidelines. He's going to have difficulty throwing the football. Now it's 3rd and 6.
Rocky Blyer has just rushed 11 yards for a touchdown. And the Steelers now leading the Chiefs 21-16. 6 minutes left in the fourth. And the Chad here at the vet defense. 3rd down, 6 yards to go on the 8. And Lloyd in and out of the hands of Mel Gray. Gray had it and couldn't hold it.
It was a delayed pattern. A delayed pattern and probably good enough for the first time. Now, Lloyd's rushed. They're dogging him. He does a good job getting the ball off.
That was Bernard Wilson in his face.
Right in his face. Mel Gray had it. Here it is.
Shara and Wilson.
Right in his face. Kicking a field goal.
Neil O'Donoghue, a 25-yard field goal attempt. It's up. It's good, and the Cardinals are still in the ballgame. With 7 minutes and 3 seconds left, O'Donoghue now is 11 for 15 in field goals this year, and a perfect 17 out of 17 in points. Eagles 10, Cardinals 3. That's Perry Harrington, but deep man on the 5-yard line is Louis Giamona. And then on his left, you have Billy Camfield. So the Cardinals, with 7 minutes left in the game, a big unnecessary roughness play helped to lead to the field goal. And O'Donoghue kicks it low and hard, and Harrington at the 8, to the 20, to the 30. 35 and out to the 38-yard line. A good return by Perry Harrington to give the Eagles good field position. By Perry Harrington. Saints are leading the Jets. Can they break through and finally win one?
You know what, Ben? I told my son, I said, the Saints are going to beat somebody this year. They're not going to go 0-16.
Well, they are leading with a couple of minutes left in New York.
Last week they had, I think, a 27-point lead.
There's Dick Vermeil, who appears quite tight. It's a tough ball game, and the Cardinals have played him tough. 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line of the Eagles. In motion is Charles Smith. Jaworski to Harris. And Harris is out across the 45-yard line and still driving. A flag back on the 34-yard line. So let's see.
Ben, have you noticed today, after every good run or every long run, there was a flag?
And the biggest flag, of course, nullified a 57-yard run by Wilbert Montgomery. That is holding against the Eagles.
Well, that's what the Eagles have to do. You're ahead 10-3. You got to keep the clock moving, run the football, throw sparingly.
So from the 37 to the 27.
Illegal use of the hands in the offense. Number 33. Still first down.
So it's still 1st and 20. And it was on Louis Giamona. Atlanta really having its way now with San Francisco 28-3. So that ball game would appear to be about over. 1st and 8 on the Eagle 27. Perry Harrington hit and dropped at the 25-yard line. And it's Kenny Green who hit him. Roy Green has not played since twisting an ankle, as you look at Bill Berge on the sideline.
And they've missed him on punt returns. Cleveland leading Minnesota 23-9 in the 4th quarter.
So it is 2nd and 19. The ball just about on the 28-yard line. We have 6 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game. 10-3 Eagles. Camfield and Giamona, the running backs, behind Jaworski. Jaworski got time, hesitates, and decides to run to the 30. Boxed in and dropped, and once again it's Kenny Green coming up to take him down at about the 33-yard line.
Pretty good rush by the Cardinals, but most importantly, everybody was covered, and Jaworski did the right thing. Don't put it up for grabs. give him the ball on an interception.
So it is 3rd and 14.
Ran the ball and got a few yards.
10-3 in favor of the Eagles. 5:22 left in the game. Carmichael and Smith go left. Fitzke goes right. Camfield and Giamona, the running back. And both backs release. Jaworski intended for Giamona, cutting across with Lee Nelson right with him. And with that, let's go to Brent Musburger and the NFL Today.
All right, Benny, here's what you reported on as the New Orleans Saints have gone back ahead of the Jets. It was Galbraith up over the top, and of course the extra point was critical. We've got about 3 minutes to go right now in that football game in Shea Stadium. 21-20 Saints. Back to Ben Scully.
Well, just imagine, Brent, if the Saints win it, all those bags come off all those heads in New Orleans.
We'll find out who they are.
4th and 14 on the Eagle 33. And Roniger gets his punt away. And Willard Harrell, fair catch at the 28-yard line.
And the reason he fair caught that then, 4.9 hang time. Excellent.
Beautiful punt.
Easy to cover that type of punt.
4:52 left. The Cardinals will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 29-yard line. Cardinals trailing Philadelphia 10-3 with 4 minutes and 52 seconds left in the game, and Mike Lloyd, the quarterback. Wayne Morris, Otis Anderson, the running backs. Anderson, deep man, and Lloyd throwing behind Charlie Smith, and it's intercepted by Roynell Young, and Roynell Young is going to be chased across by Mel Gray as he stepped out of bounds. There was a flag on the play as well. Flags on the play.
Well, it looked like Roynell Young was jamming and had this front zone. It could have been man for man or it could have been zone. He stayed right with him. He wasn't open. He threw the ball in.
Illegal contact, defense 43.
It's against Roynell Young's interception, so the Cardinals still have the ball.
Well, that's what I said. He was right up there jamming him. He either had a man for man. Let's see if we can see it. It'll be at the top of the screen. So he tries to force the ball in anyway. It's intercepted by Roynell Young, who, by the way, has done a fine job as a first-round pick as a rookie playing that difficult spot on the corner under the present pass defense rules.
So erase the interception by Young. Automatic first down on the Cardinal 34-yard line. Stephen Gray come on the left side. Chris Combs is the tight end on the right side, and that's where Anderson is looking to go, and he has to duck at the 35 and get out to the 36-yard line. Carl Hairston made the tackle as Frank LeMaster went over that duck. He went right over his head.
You know, the Eagles, Ben, out of the 45 that are playing today that are in uniform, 15 of them are free agents. Carl Peterson and his staff have done a heck of a job of signing free agents with very few draft choices, and they got 4 free agent starters.
Remarkable story for the Eagles. 2nd and 8 on the 36. And Lloyd has his arm hit just as he was releasing the ball. Very good rush. Dennis Harrison was leading the rush, and Lloyd barely was able to get that right arm through.
Hit him in the elbow. He's been under heavy pressure, and they did that without dogging, with a normal rush. Now they're coming in with their nickel personnel. Third down.
On the sideline is the young man from Notre Dame, Rusty Lish, the third quarterback for the Cardinals. Remember, Jim Hart unable to play the second half. And Lloyd throwing it intended for Steve. No good. Roynell Young defending.
That's not Lloyd's fault. He threw a good ball in there. Steve should have had that. He was open. It was right in his hands for a first down.
Well, you have 3:50 left on a 4th and 8 on the 36-yard line. had one chance to catch a ball on the 2-yard line today and was unable to hold on to it. The Eagles have blanketed him thoroughly. John Shara standing on the 25-yard line, and Slider gets another booming punt, and Shara will let it hit, and this time it lands like a poached egg, and it's finally down at the 23-yard line. When the Cardinals came into this game, they had punted the ball 80 times.
Yeah.
And they have punted the ball now 8 times today, Larry Swider.
Well, you can see why they haven't scored any touchdowns. He was rushed just a little bit.
So now, with 3.5 minutes left, the Eagles have the lead and they have the ball.
And their thinking will be keep the clock running, run the football, don't take chances, no mistakes. We'll settle for a 10-3 win.
Well, here come the Eagles. Harold Carmichael goes wide right. Charles Smith goes wide left. Harrington and Giamona, and it's Harrington. And Harrington fights his way out to about the 27 or 28-yard line. Jeff McIntyre making the tackle. Jaworski has passed for 236 yards. And he is 17 for 34, but no touchdown.
No, and the other thing, I was wondering how many yards the Cardinals have made passing today, and the total is 50. 50 yards passing.
Of course, again, the footnote, Jim Hart started hurting, could not play the second half. Mike Lloyd has been unable to get the Cardinals moving. 2nd and 5. They spot the ball at the 29. On a quick hit to Harrington. Harrington's out across the 35 to the 38 for a first down before McIntyre, who's been very busy, makes the tackle. And now let's go to Pressburger in the NFL Today.
All right, Vinny, thank you very much. We're going to show you the Atlanta Falcons' defensive touchdown. They'll strip Joe Montana, and Al Richardson will pounce on the ball in the end zone to make it 35-3. For the New York fans, let me tell you that they're down to 1:26, and the Saints have the ball. The Jets are losing by a point, snowing in Shea Stadium. 35-3, Atlanta over San Francisco. Back to Vin Scully.
All right, Brent, the Eagles have it 1st and 10 on their own 38-yard line. Harrington and Giamona, with Carmichael and Smith on the left side. And it'll be Giamona, who appeared to trip up and go down under his own power. Nobody hit him. And we have 2 minutes on the clock.
I'll tell you, Nelson played that perfectly. He came across and forced it in, and it was low. That's the way you want your corner to play. Let's see if we can see it again.
He'll chop Harrington's legs out from
now
under
watch
him.
Nelson come right across. Maybe came a little too deep. I don't like him to come quite that deep, but he made that play.
So a pickup of 1, so it is 2nd and 9 on the 39.
Then we've talked about the Cardinal defense, and we can't say enough about them. They've had bad field position. They've only given up 1 touchdown. They've done a heck of a job today with very little help from the offense.
Next Saturday, a special edition of the NFL Today, the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sunday on the NFL Today, Green Bay at Detroit, Minnesota versus Washington versus St. Louis, and these doubleheader games, Atlanta versus Los Angeles and Philadelphia versus Dallas.
Well, you know, with Minnesota losing today to Cleveland, they're behind. If Detroit wins, now they're tied for 1st. And it could go down to the final game.
And of course, Minnesota having to play Houston next week, the prospects are not good.
Yes. Minnesota could win the Central Division if they lost both games, provided Detroit loses one of their 2 remaining games.
So on the 39-yard line, 2nd and 9 for the Eagles. They lead the Cardinals 10-3. Carmichael and Smith going a slot left. Spagnola, the tight end, is on the right side. Campfield is in there now with Harrington. Smith in motion to the right, and they'll go to Harrington. And Harrington is pinched at about the 43, goes forward to the 45. Jeff McIntyre has made a lot of tackles, number 50. He's played quite a game. A lot of people working hard to send this game to you. Executive producer Charles H. Milton III, Perry Smith, the producer, our director Tony Verna, Mike Albanese, our associate producer, to Dr. Bob Woods, giving us the numbers, Bob Friel for all of his help here in the booth, Vin Scully along with George Allen. Hope you enjoyed the ride. We're down to 1 minute and 52.
And it's 3rd and 2. The Cardinals have to stop them here to get that football, have a chance to get back. You have to gamble a little bit, Vin. You can't be worried about the pass too much. You have to have everybody up, play key. Everybody has a certain man that they key, and you play a run-over pass.
The Eagle offense has been mired today against a stubborn Cardinal defense. In fact, the Eagle points came. The touchdown came as a direct result of a fumble by Theodis Brown, recovered by Jerry Robinson. And the Eagles went 30 yards in 6 plays. Finally, Wilbert Montgomery scored. Then there was an interception of a Mike Lloyd pass picked off by Bernard Wilson, and that led to the Eagle field goal. But the offense, despite getting a lot of yardage, has been able to do much. There's Campfield. Campfield at the 45. Didn't make it. Not by any means. And once again, Jeff McIntyre, among others, in on the stop.
Didn't come close. McIntyre again. Another fine play.
So Runiger will be punting. And there it is.
Oh.
The New Orleans Saints beat the New York Jets 21-20, and they can take off the shopping bags in New Orleans.
And will they be celebrating there?
You say to the New York Jets, what kind of a year was it? And they say, well, we lost to New Orleans.
That looks like they got the punt block on here. 10 men up, 10 men in the line of scrimmage.
Willard Harrell is standing back on the 25. Max Runiger will be punting from the 35 with 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the game.
Let's see the snap.
Slater's good snap.